This started off years ago as a one-night stand. He was my man on the side. It was all about just sex.
Mr. Taylor, I understand that you have some concerns about her fidelity.
On our wedding day, she disappeared.
On your wedding day?
On our wedding day, she disappeared.
She's the judge who gives rules on the law and life. She's intense with common sense. She's Judge Lynn Toller on Divorce Court, where real couples deal with real life. Jessica says she felt like Stella got her groove back when she met Patrick. He was a younger man and their attraction was hot, hot, hot. But after 6 years of marriage, neither of them is feeling the groove.
I'm here to divorce my man-child of a husband so that I can finally marry a man that can take care of me and his children.
I'm here today to divorce my lying, cheating, backstab, money-hungry, gold-digging wife of mine. I'm going to get the situation done and over with today.
Can this couple get back in sync for the sake of their 2 children, or will this be their last dance? Today on Divorce Court.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Lynn Toller presiding. You may be seated.
Good day, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here today with Jessica Taylor and Patrick Taylor. Mr. and Mrs. Taylor, you have been married for 6 years. You have 2 children together. You no longer want to be married, and Mrs. Taylor, you have brought Mr. Taylor here seeking $325, which you say is half the cost of your wedding ring that Patrick paid for and that the cost of the wedding ring you paid for him. And I will talk about that with you momentarily. Before I do, Mrs. Taylor, I want to start with you. Why don't you tell me a little bit about your marriage and why we're here in divorce court today?
I decided to be like Stella. I wanted to get my groove back and marry a younger man. What I thought was a man, but ended up not being a man at all. He ended up being a little boy that I was taking care of. He became one of my children.
Tell me a little bit about, give me a story or two that would give me a vision or a picture of what your marriage was like.
Well, for instance, John, I went through hell and back. Like I said, I already had 3 children of my own, and I couldn't have any more children. He didn't have any children at all. So he decided he wanted to have some kids. So, well, he wanted a child. So I went through having surgery to get my tubes cleaned out. I went through fertility drugs, all of that to give him a child, and I finally was able to get pregnant with his firstborn son, who looked just like him. That 5 months after I had his son, he was gone. And then,
he was gone?
Yes, ma'am. He left 5 months after his son was born. He was gone.
Mr. Taylor, why don't you respond to that? What happened?
Your Honor, I did not leave 5 months after my son was born. I was there for the first 6 months of my son's life.
Oh, wow,
I took care of my kids.
Tell me what happened after that baby was born.
Really, it started before my son was even born.
Okay.
On our wedding day, I had to go to work because I had just started a new job. So I go to work 12:30, 12 o'clock-ish. She go to an ex-house to go get gas money on our wedding day.
Because he didn't have any, Your Honor. He's never been able to support me and my kids or his children.
Your Honor, when I first met her, no, I wasn't working a so-called legit job. I was by myself, so I was content where I was at in my life at that time.
But once he asked to get married and have kids.
Once I got with her, I started working 3 jobs just so I could help maintain the household a little bit better than what I was doing. And I was working at the post office with a fellow co-worker. That money wasn't good enough, so I went to get a construction job.
Right.
Working part-time. That still wasn't good enough. So I go to work at a fast food restaurant, working 3 jobs now, trying to get them out of money.
All at the same time?
All at the same time.
Well, Your Honor,
Did he do that?
This originally started off
Walking
as...
to and from work. She had a car,
Did
and I
he
was
do
walking
that,
to
Mrs.
and
Taylor?
from work.
Yeah.
Did he do that?
Yes, ma'am,
And
he
walked
walked.
into a
He walked.
situation where the woman got a couple of kids? He did that?
But he knew what he was getting into. He didn't do it on his own. He didn't do it because he wanted to. He did it because I made him.
I was
because
content
I
where
was controlling.
At first. I was content. I was happy. I was by myself,
And you
doing
were
me.
fine.
He was not, Your
Going and
Honor.
coming as I choose to go and come, hanging out with my friends on the weekends, playing sports or whatever. I was totally fine. But once I got with her, my whole life was evolved around her. She took my identity from me. I'm just finally getting myself back to a level where I'm starting to love myself again after all these many years.
Okay. You fell in love, and then you found yourself in a situation that you were trying to become a man that you weren't to satisfy her. Is
Yes,
that what
ma'am.
you're telling me?
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Taylor, now, let that a moment seep in. Do you see where he's coming from?
Not really, Your Honor, because this started off years ago as a one-night stand. He was my man on the side. It was all about just sex.
It
That's
must have
all
been
it
good.
was. That's all it was.
She gave me the keys to the house, so apparently I was doing something good.
It was a one-night stand. And then everywhere I would work, he would pop up on my new jobs. If I would be hanging out at friends' houses, he would pop up over there. He said, I'm determined to make you mine. He did this over years. It took, what, 10 years? For 10 years, everywhere I was, he popped up. And then one night, I invited him and his cousin over to spend some time with me and my sister. From that point on, he was always there, always around. If I would get a phone call, if a guy would call me on the phone, this one particular person would call me on the phone, he answered the phone, don't call her anymore, she's engaged, we're about to get married. We wasn't engaged, we wasn't about to get married. He was placing claim on things. So if you're gonna claim it, then stand up and own it.
Own it. I see what you're saying. Mr. Taylor, her story is, yeah, you were fine where you were, then you saw where she was, thought you'd like that a little better, and you just kept pushing.
He was looking for a mama.
And pushing until you pushed your way in. Is that what happened?
I was looking for a mother.
He was looking for a second
tell you
mother.
the truth, me and her, before we even started having relations or whatever, we was always good friends. She was always somebody I could go to and confide in. If I was having a bad day or whatever, I would call her, go talk to her. We would sit around for hours and just talk about nonsense, talk about my problems.
That ain't true.
At
We
first,
started
she was
sleeping together first.
At first, she was a good, caring individual, but then after a while, it just went to, I became Joan Cleave of the house, and she became Adolf Hitler. I was living in her world, her way.
Not even Ward. I mean, right there. I mean, that's a deep comparison,
It was her
Mr.
way.
Taylor.
It was her way. Whatever she wanted, she got it. If she didn't got it, then it would always fall back on me. I wasn't doing enough to make her happy.
Had she been less controlling, had she been less manipulative, you had gotten together and gotten married, and life was turning out the way you wanted, would you have stayed home with the kids? Is that what you were looking for?
No, I was.
What were you looking to do once married?
I mean, once I got married, I had my son, then my whole life turned around. I became more of a family man.
When divorce court continues, did Jessica commit the ultimate betrayal?
Mr. Taylor, I understand that you have some concerns about her fidelity. Tell me what happened.
On our wedding day, she disappeared.
Did you cheat on him? Are you dealing with baby mama drama or baby daddy drama that has you ready to divorce? Call toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or visit our website at divorcecourt.com or become a fan at facebook.com/divorcecourt.
Divorce Court is back with the case of Jessica Taylor, who wants to divorce her husband of 6 years because she says he acts more like a child than a man. But does Patrick blame Jessica for the divorce?
Mr. Taylor, I understand that you have some concerns about her fidelity.
I mean, just
Tell
like
me what happened.
On our wedding day, she disappeared.
On your wedding day?
On our wedding day, she disappeared.
Your Honor, we were supposed to get married in December, and he disappeared. We didn't get to the because we went to Just to the Peace. We didn't even make it there.
I'm so sorry you found each other again. I wish I was unfortunate, but go ahead.
And then in January, when we said we were going to get married, I went to work, came home, we went to the Justice of the Peace, and I didn't have any gas money. Of course, he didn't have any gas money. I had to go to my second job because I was working 2 jobs at that time. And I went to a friend's house to get some gas money. And I stayed there for a few moments.
An ex. It was.
Did you cheat on him?
It was more.
Did you cheat on him?
I was forced to cheat on him, Your Honor, because I needed to find a man. I needed a man to take care of me and his children.
You just married him.
But I had been dealing with him for years prior to that.
If you were so dissatisfied with who he was that you were forced into the arms of another man on the day of your wedding, why in the world did you marry him in the first place?
Because I truly did love him. I truly did love him. He did have some good qualities, but being a provider and being one who can take care of and support, he's not.
Is there something you want to say to her, something you want to ask her? Because I see clearly now. I see the full picture.
I mean, if I was
And-
all these things, you know, if I was a man child, if I was a loser, if I was this, then why in the world would she take this man child into her house
Ask her.
and marry me?
Why would
Because
you?
I loved you.
Okay, but love is one thing, but love wasn't good enough after a certain point in the lifetime or whatever.
And I felt as though you didn't have nobody else there, honey, and I wanted to be there for you.
I always had a support group in my life.
Your Honor,
Always.
I mean,
Okay.
well, at least you had support. When it came time to him trying to even provide me safety, Your Honor, he couldn't even do that. A man was trying to break in my house, and I had to defend me and my kids, not him.
What was that?
Well, he didn't run or anything, did he?
Did he run?
I wasn't even there when
Oh
the
my
man
gosh,
so-called tried to
no,
break in her
when the
house.
crazy man was knocking on the back door, I was 8 months pregnant. He was knocking on the back door, then he ran around and knocked on my kid's bedroom window. I look at my husband that's supposed to protect me and my family. Baby, go see what's going on. He goes to the door and he's like, I'm sorry, you got the wrong house.
Whatever.
You can't come in here.
Whatever.
And the man's bamming on the door, demanding to get in the house. So you know what I did?
I went and got the baseball bat and went to the door.
And you
she was
ran
like,
down the
"Don't
hill
worry
and the
about it,
police
my
pulled the
friends.
gun on
I'll
you
take
because they
care of
thought
this."
you were the
Because
perpetrator.
I was going to look.
And left me standing there.
I was going to look for the guy that was knocking on the door. The people in the back had a party. It was a drunken guy that came, knocked on the door.
Thank you. Now he
I
remembers.
went and got the baseball bat and walked outside. Oh, don't worry about it. Come in the house. The police are on the way. You
No,
want to be the
no,
woman in a man's
no.
situation, so therefore, if you want to be both,
I
go
believe
do it.
him.
I had to be. No, he ran. Your Honor, I promise you on all
He
that.
didn't
code,
run away down the-
No, first he ran to the living room window and was peeping out the living room window while I'm on the phone with the police. The man still bamming on my kid's bedroom window, mind you.
She's
So
a
I'm
little
thinking he's
delusional.
going to come through the kid's bedroom window. So then I became the man and I said, "You come through here, I'm gonna shoot you with my gun." Because I had to be the man to protect me and my family until the police got there. He went running out the front door as soon as he saw the policeman. He ran down the hill so fast, the police pulled the gun and told him to freeze because they thought he was the perpetrator, leaving me standing at the top of the hill with this drunken, crazy man coming out the woods. I'm 8 months pregnant, standing here looking like, okay, where's my husband now?
When divorce court continues, the courtroom heats up.
Mrs. Taylor, did you pick him because you liked the sex?
Oh my God, Your Honor, let me tell you something.
If you would like your case heard on Divorce Court, call us toll-free at 1-877-311-2222 or log on to our website at divorcecourt.com and follow us on Twitter at Divorce Court. Divorce Court returns with the case of Patrick Taylor, who is divorcing his wife who slept with her ex on their wedding day. But will their sex life be the one thing that brings this couple back together?
You got gin, then we got 45 minutes. We can hang from chandeliers, do aerobics, everything. I mean, it's awesome.
Mrs. Taylor,
She's
did
good.
you pick him because you liked the sex?
Oh my God, Your Honor, let me tell you something.
No, but
Yes, ma'am.
because I see no reason to be with him. You said he was a
Ma'am,
one-night stand,
let me
and after that, everything was horrible.
Oh,
so I
my
want to
goodness.
know, was it that good?
It was, Your Honor, it was that good. However, let me tell you this, to be honest, what I later found out, if he doesn't have a bottle of gin, then the sex lasts 3 minutes without a bottle of gin. If you got gin, then we got 45 minutes. We can hang from chandeliers, do aerobics, everything. I mean, it's awesome. I mean, there's no holds barred as long as he got some gin.
What was the final straw, Ms. Taylor?
The final straw was when he did leave, and I went to work, and I came home, and I was worried. When I came, well, first I had a funny feeling. I called, and the kids was like, well, Patrick's not here. And I'm like, he's not there. Where is he? And they were like, I don't know. He went walking the dog. So I get home like 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking around the house, and there was no, he never said anything about leaving. We had talked previously, because we weren't getting along, that if you're going to leave, let's do this amicably. But he never, I ain't going nowhere. I was like, well, you got something up your sleeve. I ain't got nothing up my sleeve. I mean, he wasn't even man enough to let me know that he was so unhappy that he wanted to leave. I come home, I have 2 children we have 2 together, 3 and 4 years old. They were in diapers, laying in the middle of my bed, wet, soiled. Then my son, he didn't even know he was gone. First he knew, he went to walk the dog. They said he kept going in and out of the basement door. He left through the basement door, Your Honor. That was my final straw. You didn't care nothing about me or your kids.
Mr. Taylor, what would you like to say in response to that?
I got tired of the BS. I mean, you tell me one thing, you going to work, come find out you're not going to work. You in the next town up with your friends, supposed to be working, having gentlemen callers call you all hours of the night. So, I mean, it was time for me to go. It was either me going or me staying in a situation and doing something that I didn't want to do to somebody else. So
When's the last time you saw your little people?
I left. I haven't seen my kids since January the 9th.
The day before my birthday,
Of
Your
this
Honor.
year?
Of last
January
year.
9th,
So it's been
2010.
over a
It's
year?
been over a year since I seen my kids.
The day before my birthday is when he walked out and left his kids. January 9th, 2010.
How come? How come you haven't seen them? Is she making it impossible, or you just not getting there?
At first, I didn't even want to see her at all.
We didn't hear from him for like 4 months.
I don't
Didn't
care
know
about
if he was
that.
dead.
I was calling, leaving messages for her. She would not respond to any messages or anything that I was doing. I tried, I made an effort to get in touch with her. She wouldn't answer the phone call, wouldn't answer no texts. So at one point, I just got tired of trying to deal with it.
When divorce court continues, is Patrick ready to become a man?
Woman can't make you a man. You can decide to be a man or not be one. No, it doesn't matter what the environment is.
Divorce Court returns with the case of Jessica and Patrick Taylor, who have 2 children together and are divorcing after 6 years of marriage.
When you roll, you got to roll like a man. And I don't think you were ever ready to be a man. I think you were the boy that you were, and you were contented with that. And she liked the sex, so she said, I got this boy. I'm going to make him into what I want him to be. And it didn't work. And she got mad about it, and that's not who you were, and you had babies, and you were still that boy. Even when the babies came, you were still that boy. And that's your fault, too, because you picked a boy, and you tried to make something that he wasn't. You had a game plan, and he was the brother that you were going to plug in, that he wasn't ready for that. He didn't want that, and he got into that. But you can't walk out of a house like that and not see your kids.
Ask her why I didn't become the man that I wanted to become.
Doesn't matter. You know what? Woman can't make you a man. You can decide to be a man or not be one. No, it doesn't matter what the environment is.
I wanted to go back to school.
Yeah. Well, I wanted. Men do.
I couldn't do nothing because of her. Every time I get prepared to go to school, she would, well, you're a man now, so you got to stay here and take care of the kids and stuff now.
I mean, you wanted to go to school. You need to go out there and make some money. You need to go get a job, not go to school. School ended once you graduated.
You have to stand on your own and speak for yourself, male or female. When you're an adult in a relationship, you have to understand and know what you need to become fulfilled and happy and a provider, as well as dealing in a compromising situation with each other. You guys were both wrong. You were wrong for picking him out of wherever you picked him from and tried him to make him into something that you wanted. You were just wrong. And when he couldn't come correct as the man he wasn't yet, you went out and got somebody else. I ain't never heard nothing quite as nasty as a woman sleeping with another guy on her wedding day. I don't know who does that. I don't understand it. I don't know who does it. I think the level of, the absence of morality involved in that is just beyond, it's just beyond anything. And I'm on divorce court. I see stuff all the time, and that's pretty low. Tell me about the money you want.
As I say, he's never been a provider. I paid for the wedding rings. I want him to pay half for my set of wedding rings, and I want him to give me all for the ring that he took. He could have left that. I could have passed that on to one of the kids.
Mrs. Taylor, you're tacky and trifling, and you not getting a thing. There will be no recovery in this matter. It is so ordered.
All right. Parties may leave the courtroom.
Jessica says that after the show, she and Patrick talked about getting back together. Seeing him in court brought back her old feelings for him. He was supposed to come to see the kids the other weekend, but canceled, leaving the kids heartbroken. But she says the plan is for him to find a job and move back in, though she's keeping that news under wraps since some of her family members still want her to get divorced.